Hey team, so I just seen the news here on another aggregator. This one also owned by BlackRock, which is very interesting. So I just wanted to come on here and record a play-by-play of how I'm seeing it and what this means really for Amazon's industry and also the e-commerce industry as a whole. So let's go through this and let's piece it together and let's have some fun here. See what's going on. So we obviously had Thrasio that filed for bankruptcy last year, I believe, and just really going to show the contraction, maybe not the contraction, but the consolidation and the competitiveness of the industry, I think. Let's go through it and have a look, and we'll see what we can glean from it. Stop making payments on a loan. So SellerX couldn't afford to pay loans, so couldn't afford to pay their loan back, which is fascinating. Auctioning the company, unusually aggressive step. So auctioning the company is risky, because ultimately you've no real control over the price. Usually with an auction, it's a case of the highest price wins, obviously, but there's no takebacks. So this is one where maybe they really don't like the what they're holding, and they're just looking to get rid of it. It almost seems like an emotional step, but again, do they have some different motives? I'm not sure. Love to hear what you think. I'm trying to break down. It said that took about debt administrator. So they got a 400 million loan in 2021. So credit was very cheap back then. Interest rates were close to zero. So we had got loans in my e-commerce company as well. And we paid very little interest, 2% or something on loans, which is kind of crazy. It was basically like free money back then. So it's no wonder these guys acquired them and gave them 400 million. It was easy. They did increase it in 2023, so this must have been a bit more of a methodical process, a little bit more cautious, I would imagine. However, it clearly hasn't worked, because they did appoint someone in July, SellerX, to manage the brands, and ultimately, obviously not coming up trumps. Reaccelerate. Sustainable path, sustainable, huh? Report that on consider debt financing for a merger of two other Amazon aggregators. Branded, oh my god. Branded is one I've seen before. These guys look really good. I'm not sure why it's all blurry here, but leadership, interesting. I remember seeing these guys before. I can't remember if they reached out to my one of my brands or I just came across them. But wow, big team. Look, it just goes to show, right? There's a group. These are a lot of big players, and ultimately they still weren't able to do it. I would absolutely love to hear. I'd love to talk to one of these guys and get their insights into what's happening. One of the key things is that there's not many, or at least I don't know of any. If you do, let me know. I don't know any Amazon brands that are publicly traded, because if they were publicly traded, then it would be really fascinating to look through their financials. I would love to see that. I would love to see a breakdown into that across industries. So, for example, I've read Amazon's financial statements, or its 10Ks, and Nvidia's 10K and annual reports and stuff. So this is something that I'm very familiar with. I would love to see something behind some of the big aggregators, but I don't know any of them that are publicly trading. So it's a shame. However, look, big players here. We can see it. Did they name their brands? Brand stories. So this must be one of their brands. Okay, so there's not much. Oh no, they have more here. Pure receipts. Yeah. Well, the one thing with Amazon is there is a lot of commodity based. I think you can get like a false sense of reality that you have like a real brand, even though it's still a commodity on Amazon. You've really got to be looking at developing the brand itself. International team. Okay, anyway, enough about branded. So ultimately it's not worked. Now, what I would put this down to, again, I'd love to see the financial statements. I'd love to talk to some of these aggregators. If anyone has any contacts, I would love to chat to them. But ultimately, it's a competitive industry, you know, and this is potentially why micro brands and founders of like 7-8 figure brands, 6 figure brands, do better than what these guys are doing at the aggregator level. Because what they're trying to do a roll up basically. That means acquire a lot of brands or a lot of businesses in the same industry, consolidate them together, and then get economies of scale in their people. So be able to get like one person to more brands, you know, because that should be more profitable. However, ultimately, I think that means that there's too many spinning plates. And for an industry where having an edge and being on your A game matters, they just haven't seemed to manage it. They haven't seemed to be able to do it, even with technology and automations and stuff, which is in the industry and AI. They just have not been able to do it, which is really fascinating because ultimately SellerX along with Trazio are the two of the biggest. I'm not sure what other ones. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Did I speak to any last year? There might be another few. Well, there is another few. I know I've spoken to many, but two big ones, two really big ones, and ones that ultimately just did not be. We're not able to continue, not able to be sustainable. You know, I think you've really got to be on your A game with your Amazon brand. That's what I see. I still see so much growth, so much potential, and ultimately that comes from being dialed in and know what you're really doing. So maybe just at the level they were playing is all I can guess, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. The classic roll-up consolidation model that would happen in any other industry happens in healthcare, happens in finance, happens in a lot of industries where you can roll it up, bring it all under one group, get the branding the same, take advantage of economies of scale with people, technology, etc. In the Amazon, at least specifically Amazon, because I know these are Amazon first aggregators, it just doesn't seem to work. So I'm actually fascinated by this, and I would love to hear what you think in terms of what is happening here as a second. I think there's probably more than two, but two big aggregators filed for bankruptcy in the last while. So very interesting, and I wonder what's going to happen with these brands. You know. Anyway, let me know what you think, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and I'll catch you on the next video.